What happens when there's no consent of the governed? Have you ever thought about what it means when a government rules without the approval of its people? The concept of consent of the governed is vital in understanding the relationship between authority and the citizens. This principle states that a government's legitimacy comes from the agreement of the people it governs. When this consent is missing, serious issues arise that affect everyone. Without the consent of the governed, a government loses its moral foundation. It means that the authority is acting without the approval of the people. This situation violates the ethical belief that power should be justified and accountable. When people feel they have not agreed to the rules, it creates a disconnect between the rulers and the ruled. In practical terms, a lack of consent can lead to a government being viewed as coercive or oppressive. Citizens may feel justified in resisting or disobeying a government that does not representing their interests. This can result in widespread distrust and civil unrest. The ethical theory of contractarianism emphasizes that agreements and mutual consent form the basis of political authority. Without this consent, the government's right to govern becomes questionable. Moreover, when consent is absent, it can erode the moral fabric of society. Laws and policies imposed without the people's agreement often reflected the interests of a select few rather than the common good. This can lead to injustice, corruption, and violations of individual rights. Such actions conflict with ethical standards of fairness, respect, and autonomy. The absence of consent challenges the ethical obligation of rulers to serve the people's interests and maintain justice. It highlights the essential role that consent plays in ethical governance. When a government operates without the backing of its citizens, it risks becoming oppressive and undermining the ethical foundations of its authority. In summary, when there is no consent of the governed, a government loses its moral legitimacy. It may become oppressive and violate the ethical principles that should guide its actions. The relationship between authority and the people is fundamental to a just society. Understanding this relationship helps us appreciate the importance of consent in governance.